my happiness tip number 7 is being grateful. And this is a great tip to move into feeling happiness and contentment with life, is to, as Oprah Winfrey said, every day make a list of the things we're grateful for. Because too often, I know myself, I can get into, I don't have enough, or life is mean or cruel, or no one's been nice to me today, or don't have enough money, or this and that. And sometimes people get, and it's all relative of course, but sometimes people get caught up in the smallest things, like, oh, I broke my nail, or my hair, you know, isn't quite right. And these are valid of course, because everything's relative. However, when we enter into gratitude and think, yeah, well, I have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, I've got hair, or I've got nails, or, you know, I've got food or shelter or whatever. When we move into gratitude, we move into a state of like humbleness with life. It's like, yeah, appreciating life. So being appreciative is really the key to fostering gratitude. And when we start being appreciative and grateful, then happiness flows from that. Now, of course, the trick is, if we don't feel it in ourselves, then it's very hard to bring that outside, because it's all about how we feel in ourselves. All my work in my counselling is about our own inner dialogue, our own inner feelings. So the appreciation and gratitude must begin towards myself. Socrates said, know yourself. And this is the great challenge on anyone on a personal development path. And anyone who wants to develop more spiritually or more greater awareness about their lives needs to sort of become more aware of what their life is about, what they feel, coming to accept the body we have, the makeup we have. And at any stage of our life, we can get into resentment. Oh, I don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or I'm too old, or I'm this or I'm that. And any stage of our life, we can enter into gratitude. It's like a switch of appreciation for what we have, rather than so much focusing on what we don't have. We can always focus on what we don't have, and we can always think, well, the neighbours have got more than myself, or this and that. And it's very easy then, if we're feeling not satisfied in ourselves and not happy in ourselves, very easy to get into that, into that resentment and contempt for others. So the key to happiness then is just recognising when we're moving out of that, we're moving out of appreciation for ourselves. And the second most important step or key I can offer you is just to be appreciative of our own body, of our own existence. It's actually quite a miracle, even though there's a lot of us here on planet Earth, it's actually quite a miracle that we are as we are. And our genetics that have formed our body and developed our organism is extremely complex. I can't begin to tell you how my food is digesting, or how my teeth grow. I mean, I've got no idea. I mean, I'd have to study dentistry for 6 years to learn about just this one function in my body. And it's great miracles are happening in our own body. And often we can ignore that, and if we're not appreciative and we're not grateful for ourselves, then we can treat ourselves not so kindly and then move out of happiness. And then of course that's how we start treating others, because it's all about us. Happiness tip number 8 is tied in with this, and that is being accepting. So be accepting. Now, to be accepting doesn't mean to just go along with things and, oh, this is my lot and I have to suffer through things. It's about recognising that things are as they are. As the great American teacher, philosopher, Katie Byron has said in her work, Loving What Is, a fantastic book. And Oprah interviewed her, that's on the internet, that clip. The secret in becoming happy is not to fight with what is. So what is? Well, that's life is as it is. So what is my body, my life, where I'm born, the people in my life, the job I have or don't have, the luxuries I have or don't have. That's what is. And my thinking is what is. The way I think and the way I feel, and I don't have a lot of control over that in some ways because it's the way I've been brought up and my culture, and you could say it's my astrology background and this and that, and look into all the different complexities into why I would feel and behave in a certain way. And sometimes I wake up some days and go, wow, why am I feeling this today? Why, yesterday I was feeling great, today I'm not so great. So where I enter back into happiness is, okay, that's just what is. And I can argue with it and say, well, I shouldn't be feeling that, or my partner shouldn't do that, or I shouldn't be losing that money on the stock market, or whatever. I can argue with that and get upset and get stressed. Or I can say, okay, that's what is. And that doesn't mean to say I'm not going to maybe move into some action around maybe, say, the stock market or my relationships or whatever. Learn some skills in my communications, go to seminars on the stock market, for example. Doesn't mean to say I'm not going to do that, but it means that I'm not going to sit back in being a quagmire of self-pity and resentment and self-obsession. Self-obsession and self-pity lead to resentment and bitterness, and if that's not acknowledged, if that's not worked through, often they can lead to illness. And I see a lot of psychosomatic illness in my clients, and a lot of tensions in their body, and where things have just built up and up over the years. So the key to accepting what is and acknowledging, well, this is how it is, and I may not like how it is, and that's also part of how it is, what it is. And just seeing that, step one, to see it, then I move out of it. So it's the observing, it's the noticing of that, where I'm not accepting, how I become aware of what is in my life. It's like when you keep arguing with something, fighting something, and it keeps coming back at you, say, okay, well, that must be just what is. That's how it is. And when I go with that understanding in myself and recognise that, then I can enter into feeling happier with what is. Doesn't mean to say I like necessarily, say I have an illness and I'm happy with that. It doesn't mean that I like that. My preference might be I don't have an illness, or that I had more shares in the share market, or whatever. However, the tension will leave, because that's what is. That's why am I arguing with reality? Why am I arguing with how it is, how life is? And then I can enter a great place of contentment and going with the flow. So this is a great understanding if you can get your head around it, and I've developed my Enlightened CD and other empowerment CDs to help people address this question. And it constantly comes up every day. Every time I'm getting a little bit stressed, okay, the toothpaste didn't come out of the tube right, what am I going to argue with it? Am I going to get upset? Who do I blame? Life is as it is. I can either go with it, work with it, or I can try and argue with it and fight with it. And I'm the one who ends up suffering with that, because there'll be tension in myself around that. And so it's just a matter of seeing that as it is and working with that. And really, you'll enter great states of happiness if you can get your head around this one. This is a great paradigm to get the head around. Cheers for now.